I have great pleasure in welcoming the Prime Minister of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, and I invite her to address the General Assembly.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Mr. President, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Let me extend my heartiest felicitations on your election as President of the 72nd session of the General Assembly. My delegation assures you of our full support in discharging your priorities on people, peace, and planet. Mr. President, this is the 14th time I am addressing the UN General Assembly, and this time I have come here with a heavy heart. I have come here just after seeing the hungry, distressed, and hopeless Rohingyas from Myanmar, who took shelter in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. This forcibly displaced people of Myanmar are fleeing an ethnic cleansing in their own country where they have been living for centuries. I can feel their pain as I, along with my younger sister, had been a refugee for 6 years after my father, the father of the nation of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and almost all members of my family were assassinated in 1975. In 1974, in the first ever address of Bangladesh in this assembly, my father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, said, "I know that the souls of our martyrs join us in pledging that the Bengali nation fully commits itself to the building of a world order in which the aspirations of all men for peace and justice will be realized." Mr. President, we are currently sheltering over 800,000 forcibly displaced Rohingya from Myanmar. The ongoing atrocities and human rights violations in the Rakhine state of Myanmar once again aggravated the situation at the Bangladesh-Myanmar border. Hundreds of thousands of Rohingya from the Rakhine state are entering Bangladesh to flee violence. As estimated by the IOM, in the last 3 weeks, over 430,000 Rohingya entered Bangladesh. We are horrified to see that the Myanmar authorities are laying landmines along their stretch of the border to prevent the Rohingya from returning to Myanmar. These people must be able to return to their homeland in safety, security, and dignity. At the same time, I condemn all kinds of terrorism and violent extremism too. Our government maintains a zero-tolerance policy in this regard. I thank the members of the Security Council and also the Secretary General for their proactive attempts to stop atrocities and bring in peace and stability in the Rakhine state of Myanmar. I further call upon the United Nations and the international community to take immediate and effective measures for a permanent solution to this protracted Rohingya crisis. In this regard, I propose the following actions. First, Myanmar must unconditionally stop the violence and the practice of ethnic cleansing in the Rakhine state immediately and forever. Second, Secretary General of the United Nations should immediately send a fact-finding mission to Myanmar. Third, all civilians, irrespective of religion and ethnicity, must be protected in Myanmar. For that, safe zones could be created inside Myanmar under UN supervision. Fourth, ensure sustainable return of all forcibly displaced Rohingyas in Bangladesh to their homes in Myanmar. Fifth, the recommendations of Kofi Annan Commission report must be immediately implemented unconditionally and in its entirety. Mr. President, in the 1971 War of Liberation, we endured an extreme form of genocide. In the 9-month-long War of Liberation against Pakistan, 3 million innocent people were killed and more than 200,000 women were violated. The Pakistan military launched the heinous Operation Searchlight on the 25th of March, which was the beginning of the 1971 genocide. The 1971 genocide included targeted elimination of individuals on the grounds of religion, race, and political belief. The intellectuals were killed brutally. To pay homage to the victims of the genocide, our national parliament recently declared the 25th of March as Genocide Day. In Bangladesh, we have already undertaken the daunting task of bringing the key perpetrators to justice through the International Crimes Tribunal. I urge the international community to take collective action to prevent recurrence of such heinous crimes anywhere, anytime. I believe recognition of past tragedies like the 1971 genocide would guide us to achieve never again. Mr. President, since our birth as a nation, we have pursued peace-centric domestic and foreign policies. Mr. President, as I said before, since our birth as a nation, we have pursued peace-centric domestic and foreign policies. With that spirit, Bangladesh has been taking the lead in tabling the resolution on culture of peace every year in the General Assembly since the year 2000. We reaffirm the call for resuming the Middle East process and for ending all forms of hostility and discrimination against the brotherly Palestinian people. In recognition of the potential role of the UN peacebuilding architecture, we look forward to bold and innovative proposals from the Secretary-General on financing for sustaining peace. I am pleased to announce a token contribution from Bangladesh of $100,000 for the UN Peacebuilding Fund. Mr. President, as a major troop and police contributing country, Bangladesh underscores the importance of upholding effectiveness and credibility of UN peacekeeping operations. We shall maintain our own capability, readiness, remain open to further smart pledges, enhance the scope of our peacekeeping training, and deploy more female peacekeepers. We maintain a zero-tolerance approach to any allegation of sexual exploitation and abuse. As an endorser of the Voluntary Compact on Sexual Exploitation and Abuse, I have committed myself to the Secretary-General's circle of leadership to combat this scourge. I am also pleased to announce a token contribution of $100,000 to the Victims Support Fund established for this purpose. Mr. President, terrorism and violent extremism have become a major threat to peace, stability, and development. Terrorists have no religion, belief, or race. Having been a target of a number of terrorist attacks myself, I personally empathize with the victims of terrorism and appreciate their need for protection. We denounce the use of religion to justify violent extremism. I have involved families, women, the youth, the media, and religious leaders at the community level to offset the spread of violent extremism. In this regard, I reiterate my calls. First, stop supplying arms to the terrorist. Second, stop terrorist financing. And third, settle all international disputes peacefully. I also urge the UN to address the growing threats emanating from the cyberspace to prevent money laundering, terrorist financing, and other transnational organized crimes. Mr. President, we believe in Bangladesh in promoting safe, orderly, and regular migration. Last year, we proposed developing a sound migration governance framework through the Global Compact on safe, orderly, and regular migration. I am pleased that currently the UN is delivering on the formation of the compacts for migration and refugees. Mr. President, the Paris Climate Agreement remains our bastion of hope for climate justice. By recognizing climate vulnerability, we are building resilience against the grave impact of climate change. We believe in the potential of the green economy in advancing the conservation and sustainable use of oceans and seas, the blue economy. Bangladesh has achieved exemplary success in building resilience against flood and other disasters. Crop intensification and invention of water-resistant crops have helped us achieve self-sufficiency in food. We have efficiently responded to the massive flood that struck the entire South Asian region this year. As a member of the High-Level Panel on Water, I attach high priority to implementing its comprehensive action plan. Bangladesh has ensured safe access to water for 87% of its population by 2015, and we aim for full coverage of access to safe water for our population by 2030. We believe that there are close interfaces between peace and stability and development. We share the conviction that addressing poverty, hunger, illiteracy, unemployment, and inequality is crucial. It is crucial for building peaceful, just, and inclusive societies. We are committed to implementing the SDGs. For that, our government has adopted the whole-of-society approach. The SDG complement our vision to transform Bangladesh into a middle-income country by 2021 and a developed one by 2041. Even before the adoption of the SDGs, we initiated unique social programs that reflect the themes of the SDGs, such as Ekti Bari, Ekti Kamar, One Household, One Farm, or the Community Clinic, Ashrayan, the Shelter Project, or Digital Bangladesh, Education Support, Women's Empowerment, Education for All, the Social Safety Net, Environment Protection, and Investment and Development. Our voluntary national review presented to the UN this year showcased our progress and commitment to achieving the SDGs. In 2016 to 2017, Bangladesh's economy posted a GDP growth rate of over 7.24%, and our foreign currency reserve reached $32.1 billion. We have brought down the poverty level from 56.7% in 1991 to 23.2% today. Our per capita income is expected to grow to $1,602 by the end of the current fiscal year. It was only $543 in the year 2005 to 2006. Our life expectancy increased to almost 72 years. These figures, indeed, are indications of our inclusive development in which no citizen is left behind. To ensure inclusive growth, promote investment and employment opportunities for all, we have taken the initiative of developing 100 special economic zones around the country. Our extensive social safety network measures give coverage to many vulnerable segments of our population, including elderly people, persons with disabilities, victims of domestic violence, and vulnerable mothers under economic hardship. Special emphasis has been placed on unlocking the potentials of physically challenged children and people. 103 service and care centers, along with 32 mobile therapy vans, attend to the needs of persons with disabilities, including those affected by autism. 18,500 community health clinics are being complemented by medical services through the use of mobile phones and web cameras in districts and sub-districts. There is now a public primary school in every village of the country. 38,331 educational institutions have been equipped with digital laboratories and multimedia classrooms. Special emphasis is being given on promoting technical and vocational education and training for young people. Mr. President, our youth are the main movers in realizing my vision for a knowledge-based digital Bangladesh. We are working towards creating an environment to allow them to pursue transformative education, find decent jobs, and turn into truly global citizens. I am happy to announce that Banga Bandhu Satellite 1, which is our first ever satellite, is scheduled to be launched this year on our Victory Day, 16 December. Mr. President, to conclude, I would like to say we do not want war. We want peace. We want people's well-being, not destruction of humanity. We want sustainable development. Let this be our collective goal. I thank you. Long live Bangladesh.